Hey guys, how's it going? SoCal here. Today we're going to do a little reload testing. Went out to the range today, shot the mother of all Grendels with the proof barrel, Leopold Mark 5 scope, Seekins precision hardware and receivers, that is. Got a Lancer, forearm, and buttstock, and this thing is freaking lights out. Really happy to get some ammo tested today. We did, let's see, 120 rounds of different varieties. We shot 4 different powders with 5 different charges, 6 rounds apiece, and came up with some interesting results, and saw some cool people at the range as well. And yeah, so if you guys are interested on how we did, when I say we, I don't know why we is it. It was just me, really. Anyway, if you're interested, stick around. All right, so I got the first 2 batches of powder shot, and we're going to go take a look. Well, I know what it looks like. I'll show you guys what it looks like. I was really happy with the XBR. The CFE 223 wasn't all that great. I am looking forward to checking out the tack powder, and well, yeah, you guys will see here in a second. The that XBR felt good, and it shot really good. Pretty much all the groups were pretty outstanding. I was getting a lot of inconsistencies with CFE. Some were my fault, some were not my fault, but here's the first 2 groups, and this last group at 28.5 grains of the XBR. Not too shabby, that's 6 bullets. So anyway, we got the TAC and the H335 to go. We'll see what we get. Head back down and do some more shooting. All right, so we finished the range testing for, let's see, 4 different powders, 5 different loads each, 6 rounds apiece, and I was kind of shocked that the TAC didn't really do so good. I mean, it did okay. Substantially slower than the rest. But then again, it could have been me too, I don't know. But heading up to the targets. And I think out of most of them, I think that XBR was probably one of the best. I had a decent group with pretty much all of the different flavors. It's just, I just feel like the XBR is going to be the best at this point. Maybe I can play with the TAC and the H335, but yeah, here's the target, and not too bad, but let's take this home and we'll talk about it. Alright, so here's the first result. This is the XBR powder that we loaded, starting at 27.1 grains. You can see I started in the top left and then worked my way to the top right, then bottom left, then bottom right. Then the middle target was the last shot, or last test of that powder. And all the tests that I've done are basically going to be in that format. Okay, so the first shots with that 27.1 charge were actually really good. I had some rounds that actually went through the same hole, and I'm pretty happy with that. However, the average speed was only 2390, so I'd like to be at least 100 feet per second faster. You can see the next group, nothing to write home about. That's definitely out of an accuracy node, as well as that 27.7, not so great. All the standard deviation numbers are in the teens. Let's see, the last 28.5 group, I'm very happy with that, and that's the XBR. Really like that group right there. I found one thing about shooting these stick and see targets, especially when it's gray out, there's no sunlight, you cannot see the orange dot in the center from 100 yards away. Not with the scope I was using anyway, just all looked black. Made it really difficult to be accurate when you can't find the center of the target. So anyway, I'm not really making excuses, I'm just saying. But yeah, that center shot was 25-30 average speed with standard deviation of 11, which isn't amazing, but it's still definitely something to write home about. All right, so the next one, we did the CFE 223 and was not very impressed with this much at all. All the standard deviation numbers, again, were in the low teens. We started off at 2420. And actually, the first shot is that one down low left, and then the rest of the 6 shots, or rather 5 shots, were through the hole directly underneath, and then a couple off to the side there. So it did group well. It's just I'm not sure whether or not I was pulling it or if it was just because I couldn't see the target. I'm not sure. That's worth a retry, I think. But as far as the rest of them go, I'm not terribly impressed with any of that. So on to the TAC. And a lot of these groups are actually fairly decent. It's just they're so slow. The very last group was pretty decent. The first group up in top left, the average speed of that group was actually 2250 with a standard deviation of 15. The second one came up a bit at 2280 with a SD of 16. It's a tight group, but it's just terribly underpowered. Next one, the 27.7, just kind of all over the road. That had the lowest standard deviation number, though, with 8.8. And then the bottom right target at 28 grains was a 2355, and then the center target was 2385 with a standard deviation of 12.5. So nothing, not bad, just not great. And then the last group of powder that we did was the H335, and this was pretty good too, but unfortunately I think the pressure was a lot higher than most of the other powders I've noticed, just because it just felt really overpressured, real gassy, if you will. So anyway, started off at the 2316 in the top left with the standard deviation 13, and the next one over would be 2360 with an SD of actually 4. So that's actually not a bad group. I think most of that was me, but again, it's only 2360 feet per second, not very quick, but it's definitely looks like an accuracy node for me, at least in that barrel. Everything else about this was horrifying. It was just really bad. The 28 group down at the bottom left is standard deviation number didn't come up because a lot of the shots weren't recorded. I'm not sure why, but the average speed was 2368. The bottom right was 2414 with a standard deviation of 14, and then the very middle group, that 28.7, felt really, really overpressured. I haven't looked at the brass yet, but I have a feeling it's probably got some nice extractor marks and whatnot in it. It was 2460, but the standard deviation was 38, and it just shot like garbage. So anyway, guys, you can kind of tell that trip was definitely worthwhile. I think I found a couple of good accuracy nodes for some different powders. Got it all recorded in my little data book there, so I'll have that as long as I don't lose the data book. And another cool thing about the range trip, saw Jon Ocab. If you're not familiar with him, he has a YouTube channel as well. I'll put that down in the description box if you guys are interested. He does a lot of long-range shooting, some competition, and some training videos type stuff. He's also a Jeep guy. Never talked to him, but saw him drive by. That was good enough, right? Fellow YouTuber. What's up, buddy? Anyway, also the range guy who talks a lot, he's actually, he talks a lot. That's what he does. But he's a super awesome guy, and we did some more talking, and actually he's got me pretty convinced that 300 Norma is going to be my next kind of long-range gun. So I think I'm probably going to buy an AI 300 Norma barrel and a new bolt so we can use that. And anyway, he also is a huge encyclopedia of long-range shooting. He does training and just a wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate the fact that he is such a blabbermouth, because most of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is actually very interesting. So you know who you are if you're watching. Thanks, brother, and I will see you the next time I'm out there. And everybody else, thanks for watching. You guys know the drill. Hit that sub button and give me a thumbs up, and stick around.